everybody. This is Brian with Red Dirt Cryptid Investigations. We are headed out to what we know to be an active location where we are going to do an overnight or two. We are going to deploy some tactics to try to get some evidence. We've been out to this location before. We found sign, we found footprints, and we were pretty happy with the evidence. Talked to some of the locals, and we basically got a few heads up from them. So anyway, long story short, we'll take you with us. We'll show you some of the tactics that we are trying to implement so that we can get some activity. So come with us, have fun, join us around the campfire. We'll poke the fire together, and hopefully we get some activity. Looking forward. So if you're gonna stay up late and try to get the Squatches to come in, you're gonna have to try to rest during the day. It's not that easy, but you just gotta break your habit of going to bed early. That's a tough one for this old codger, but it's pretty nice scenery here. Nice day for a nap. Okay, now we're out on location. As you can see, it has gotten dark, right? A couple of things that we are doing. Number one, I've got a thermal imaging camera mounted on a tripod that we can rotate around. I've got my iPad over here. I can just reach up here with my hand and I can turn the tripod to where I can actually scan stuff. I can even look over here at his van. That's the top of his head right there. Yeah, you get the picture. Okay, a couple of things other things we are going to do. I've got my Sasquatch lights ready to rock and roll, which have a toggle switch inside. I decided I'm going to sleep inside the car tonight because there's a chance of severe thunderstorms. So we've also deployed the SpongeBob SquarePants, which we're still not sure if that works or not, but apparently it definitely does not scare them away. We've got audio recorders set up in that tree over there, possibly a little too close to the water. We might get a lot of extra wind over there. You think that was a bad idea? Okay, so basically we've got this makeshift thermal imaging on a tripod, and I've got a cable run over here to this iPad. Now the theory is we don't want to have anything in our hands that is looking like a weapon or something. And we figure, if we're looking down at this thing, it doesn't look like we're paying attention, and we could solicit movement. Now we can just take this one hand up here and we can check the perimeter from a distance from outside of camp. There's my car. It does not look like we're looking around for them. We just kind of keep our head down. See? Oh, there's my head. And we can basically check our perimeter, and it doesn't look like we're doing anything but staring at our phones like normal humans. See? There's Eric. So So right now we're leaving it sit on this location because there's a big down tree over there. Yeah. Yeah, make a dog. Roof, roof. Oh look, it's a dog man. We're bored, but anyway, make a long story short, that's kind of what we're doing while we're out here. That way it doesn't look like we're holding our thermal imaging scopes up to our eyes. So we got our coffee now, and let's talk about last night. Last night was kind of weird. It was really windy, which from what I've seen in the past, wind kind of hampers their movements. You'd think that they would like it, but
it's plenty loud for
yeah,
tree breaks. Honestly, I wouldn't hear it at all.
No, I wouldn't either. But maybe that's part of the reason why they don't move around a lot, because they think it might be easier for something to sneak up on them. The bullfrogs and stuff, and all the different types of frogs that were all over, they were everywhere last night. They were just going crazy, like up until what, 3?
No. We turned in.
What time did we go to bed?
12:20, and by 1 a.m. completely silent.
Well, I wouldn't say completely. There was still some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Now, this may be my imagination, but I figured out that I'd located myself in a poor strategic place, because I figured out that I couldn't see anything out here from inside the cab of my vehicle because of SpongeBob lighting everything up. That TV is bright and it throws a lot of light. I really didn't foresee that, but I could not see anything over there. So the only thing I could see was this way. But there was, I don't know, 2-3 times, I was pretty sure that I heard something walking around crunching on stuff, but it was faint, and it was whatever it was wasn't big. I don't know what it was. The first thing I did is I got up this morning and I looked around to see if anything had been messed with, like those oranges that we set out. No, none at all. I was just a little, I don't know, I thought at one time there might be something walking around our camp, but I didn't see it. Now the other thing that was kind of weird is that if anything did walk in between my car and your SpongeBob projector, it would throw a shadow, and I would have caught that. I never saw a shadow. So I'm going to have to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to have to err on the fact that I was hearing things. Because the Squatchers and their overactive imaginations do tend to be the downfall of them. So I don't know. But as far as I can tell, we didn't have any activity at all last night.
Nope.
So, I don't know.
Coleman wasn't here.
He jinxed us.
Murphy's Law.
I know. I'm telling you, I think we're starting to figure out who the lucky charm is.
Amy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's the Squatch Whisperer. Yeah, he's marked by the Squatches. I don't have any doubt that they're in this location. I mean, we were out here a few weeks ago and we found those prints just right around the edge of the bay there.
Yeah, we're just finishing our coffee, and we haven't walked around yet. See if there. I'm gonna walk over here.
Yeah.
And I did yesterday. I didn't see anything unusual. We'll be able to.
Yeah, we don't know that yet, but everything around here happens in order. First thing you got to do is get up and take a pee. Second thing you got to do is make coffee. You have to have time for the coffee to soak in and saturate into the brain cells. And all that has to happen prior to any real investigations.
Yep.
I'm still working on my coffee. But it is a nice, beautiful day. It's a nice location. Didn't sleep all that good because I kept thinking I was hearing things. I most of the time, I don't sleep worth a dang on these trips anyway, because I'm expecting them to come in at night, you know. And the last time we were out was we had one actually come into camp. That was pretty impressive. So we didn't do very much different from what we're doing right now, but it was a completely different location. Oh man, let that stuff soak in. Now this is a nice place, and there have been people that have reported encounters with some strange cryptids here. There was a lady that claimed that she saw some kind of flying gargoyle creature over here by the bridge, and Michael was telling us that he's had something come up to him over here while he was over here with his kids at night, throwing rocks at him. You know, that's pretty intimidating. I guess.
Gargoyle though, that's pretty wild.
That's not really as unusual as you think. About a year ago, I had a lady from California reach out to me, and she actually grew up in my hometown of Enid, and she reported this thing that was a black flying demon-looking creature, and it had wings in it. She said she didn't actually see it fly because she was too busy running.
Well, what was it doing? Was it on the ground?
Believe it or not, yeah, it was on the ground. When she first saw it, it was in an alley that ran in between houses, and her house was literally like right around the corner from it. And she thinks there were some people that lived right there that had rabbits. They used to raise rabbits.
Okay.
And she basically thinks that it had caught one of those rabbits or had stolen one of those rabbits and was in the alleyway eating it. And then she saw it, it saw her. She said it made a clicking noise with its mouth, and then it spread its wings out, and that's when she lost her
interest?
Her interest, we'll put it that way, yeah. And she took off like a bat out of hell. But basically, what are we talking about here? Now, she described it, her words were it was the devil. You know, it was some kind of demon. But when you think about it, what's the difference between a hairy, she said it actually had fur, it looked like, and black fur, and very thin. And she said you could see its ribs and everything. The weirdest part of the story is she said that it looked like it was holding a baby, like there was a baby around its, like, grabbed onto its side of its torso. Yeah. But she said it didn't have any mammary glands or anything, which is kind of odd. But she
Maybe
said
it could have been another rabbit.
no. She said it looked like a little arm that was sticking out.
Huh.
But what's the difference between a creature like that and a stereotypical gargoyle? You know, there are also people that report these flying hominids, you know, that are basically just, you know, for instance, I had a guy a couple years ago reach out to me, and he reported this flying cryptid down by Marlow, and I guess he was over at a friend's house, and he was sitting in a chair by the window, and he looked out the window, and there was what looked like a dude up on top of this detached garage at their house. And I guess he got his buddy's attention, and they went outside, and the thing spread its wings and took off flying. And this is in the daytime, and they didn't have time to really react or anything. But supposedly there was somebody that lived a couple miles down the road that they knew that had seen it too, and they had opened fired on it with some shotguns. They didn't bring it down. They might have hit it, but they didn't bring it down. But these humanoid, you know, you call them Mothman, whatever. These reports they happen a lot more than you think. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, I kind of put the gargoyle
in the same category. It's a flying humanoid type cryptid.
Right.
You know, and from there the descriptions go wild. So, you know, I don't think it's as unusual as people think. And they could be being confused with some type of pterosaurs or pterodactyls, which are also reported in these areas. So, you get up along the Oklahoma-Kansas line in between like Coffeyville and over by Ark City. There's several pterodactyl type sightings. There's over 100 different species of these pterodactyl type creatures. There's pterosaurs and pterodactyls. Hell, some of them had feathers, and some of them had teeth. Some of them just had beaks. There's a lot of different variations in them, but you know what I'm talking about when I say a pterodactyl. That's why I use that word. But I don't know, man. There's something to it. I mean, I saw 2 different ones out west of Alva back in 2003, 2005.
No kidding.
Yeah, I almost hit one with my service van. I need to make a video about that. I thought I'd lost my mind the first time I'd seen it. And then I saw another one that was actually smaller than the original, like 3 years later. Same area, almost exact same area.
Was it on the ground?
No, it was nighttime and it was flying. And when I saw the second one, I was like, I know what I just saw. But at the time, I thought it was a giant flying bat. So,
Yeah, often people think that cranes, not the construction kind, but the
you know,
storks kind, as they're flying, they put their necks back, and they look unusual when they're flying.
they do. I'll give them that.
And perhaps at a certain angle, they could look not like a crane.
Yeah.
However, they don't fly at night unless they're spooked, I suppose. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, cranes don't have a 12-foot wingspan either.
Not normally, no.
No. That first one I hit, the only thing I didn't hit it. I almost hit it. I still to this day, I can't believe I didn't hit it. All I really saw was one of the wings. And I was driving a truck just like your van, and I had a ladder on the top, set of ladders on the top, service truck, and I swear I can't believe I didn't actually make contact with the thing, but it flew right in front of my vehicle, and all I could see was that one wing, leathery skin. It looked like it was kind of brown, but you know, when you're dealing with those halogen lights and stuff, the halogen lights will make colors that aren't there appear and seem like it. So anyway, long and skinny of it, I figured that wing was at least 6-7 feet wide long, which would give it a frightening, horrifying, you know, wingspan.
Totally cover the windshield.
I couldn't see anything. That's a big windshield for those of you that don't know. You know, a 3/4 ton service van has a huge windshield, and I couldn't see anything. Scared me to death. And then after it was all over with, you know, you're trying to rationalize, and part of me wanted to say, that was a brown tarp. And it was like, no, because I could see the skin. I think in part of my brain wanted it to be a brown tarp, but it wasn't. And I mean, I struggle with that. And the weird thing is, and the reason why initially I thought it was a giant bat of some sort was because I was just north of the Alabaster Caverns area, and they're known for their bats. There's the Selman Bat Cave. One of these days I'm going to get down there and do that Selman Bat Cave tour where you watch like 1.5 million bats fly out at night. Yeah, you just take your lawn chair and you go sit.
Here in Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's out in northwest Oklahoma. Yeah. You have to actually I don't know what the rules are now, but back in the day when I was really looking into it, there was like a website you had to go to, and you had to put your deposit down, and you had to sign up months in advance to be able to go, because it was very limited seating. I don't know.
I suppose you can't bring your shotgun either.
No, they don't. They're supposedly protected.
What's your camera saying?
I noticed that. I don't even know if it's recording anymore. How long have we been over here talking about nothing?
I don't know.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's good. It's all legit stuff though. I enjoy going out there. Years ago, I actually did some volunteer work for the Alabaster State Park to go down in the caves and take what they call bat surveys, population surveys.
Okay.
That was interesting. I learned a lot from them. Did that for a couple of years.
What does that smell like? The
Not that-
guano.
Not bad. It's not that bad. It is a little slippery though. You don't want to fall and bust your butt, especially down in a cave like that. Most people don't know it, but Alabaster Caverns, you know, they've got the cave and they've got the walkway that you go down through. There's actually lower levels down below there, and that's where the bats are. There's certain areas where you can go and you go back around the backside of a rock and then you go back down, and there's like lower cave levels, and that's where the bats hang out. So you don't see all the cave in Alabaster Caverns. There's little offshoots and side tunnels and stuff everywhere.
So the way we see it, this whole area along this beach here where we're looking for tracks can be seen by people that frequent that fishing area right there. However, once we get back up in the cove around this point, they will not be able to be seen by the fishermen. So there's a certain amount of safety back in there. So we're going to go back in here and look for tracks. We've been finding a lot of these strange, I guess, I think that's beaver tracks. I don't know. They've been
Three claws, right? And then there.
yeah, it looks like three
What
toes.
that is. What the fuck is this?
Oh, that's a turkey, I'm guessing. Look at this one right here by your foot. Little baby footprint. There's all kinds of activity out here. Let's see if we can find something bigger back over here. Okay, here we've got some substandard prints. You kind of see there's a print possibly right there. There's a heel. Another one below. Another one. Here's kind of a big flat spot. And this one right here almost looks like the front of a foot with a giant toe, but I don't know that I'm believing it. The stride length is too close together. I don't know. Inconclusive faux show. What a nice place though. Well, we struck out again. We went and walked back into that cove, didn't find anything. We were here, what was it, a month or so ago?
Yeah.
So, we found several sets of prints, but we struck out today. That's kind of the way squatching goes. I think the problem is we don't have our Lucky Charm Coleman. I think he may have a new nickname. But anyway, it's that way sometimes. Okay, Coleman just found a white dog. Fresh. There's a whole bunch of fur over there.
These ribs would shoot off.
Well, they will.
It's stiff. It's attached.
It's attached. You know, there's always a possibility that somebody brought their old dog out here to shoot it. I mean, but it's interesting, all this fur. But I don't know. Hard to say. There's your creek. It's like two creeks join right here. So I was talking to that guy on the road, and he said that a couple of years ago that he was further down the road over this way, and he'd been fishing out there, and he got stuck, and it was getting dark, and so he called his son on the phone, come get him, and he said that by the time his son got there to get him and collect him, pull him out a couple hours later, he said that there was something out in the woods, and it was howling at him or something and making these weird noises. And you know, he said he was really relieved when his son came and collected him. But he was that was an interesting conversation. He said he never saw anything, but he said it was something that was howling like something he'd never heard before. So kind of looks like a nursery area, doesn't it? I don't see any prints. Might be some closer down by the water.
Sorry about the wind in this next clip, but Eric found this very interesting tree that you guys need to take a look at.
Okay, it is ridiculously windy. We are right here by the lake, and Eric noticed that this tree and the root ball is up there. I don't really see the lake being this high. That's every bit of 18 feet. I don't know. You be the judge.
I sat down for a minute to take a look at the Google Maps portion of this area, and that's when I saw this thing over here. It kind of looked like a creature over there watching. I thought it might have been following Coleman and Eric, and so I sat and I kind of watched it for a little while. Eventually I figured out it was not moving, but while we were separated, Eric and Coleman found these footprints, and Coleman ended up casting them. He's got them at home, but these were pretty interesting. After that, the wind just got so ridiculous that we just kind of hung around and talked, and We were kind of waiting for the wind to die down, and it just never did. We kind of decided that we were going to go ahead and eat some Mexican food and go home. We just didn't think that we could be effective in the field with that level of wind. Thank you very much for watching our videos. We appreciate you liking and subscribing, and we will catch you on the next one.